So today I'm going to show you what I pack in my hospital bag when I go for my Ocrevus infusion to treat my multiple sclerosis. So because I have MS, I have to go and get an Ocrevus infusion once every 6 months. So I have become quite skilled at packing my hospital bag. Today I'm going to show you what I pack in my hospital bag for the Ocrevus infusion. So the Ocrevus infusion is a whole day thing. It can last anywhere between 6 to 8 hours depending on your treatment center. So I like to be well equipped and well prepared for the infusion and just have all my things with me so I don't get bored and so that I just have ample things to do while I'm in the infusion room. So today I'm basically just going to run through the infusion, let you know a little bit about what to expect and also what you can pack to be prepared for the day. So an Ocrevus infusion is typically about 6 to 8 hours, maybe sometimes 5. It just kind of depends on your infusion center and how your body reacts to the treatment. Sometimes they slow the treatment down depending on whether you are having an adverse reaction to it, and sometimes they speed it up depending on whether you've had it multiple times. I can't tell you how long your infusion will be, but typically it can last anywhere between 5 to 6 to 8 hours. It's usually a full day thing. So you usually get there in the morning and you leave by the afternoon, late afternoon. So once you arrive, you just want to make sure you have your cards and your ID. I'm going to be packing my cards in my handbag. This will just make everything go a little bit smoother. My handbag is kind of for like my most important things, like my mask, my sanitizer, my ID, my medical cards, things that I'm going to need on hand quickly as soon as I arrive. So I like to have a smaller bag and a bigger bag so that everything can be in like their own special compartments. This bag can like unclip so it becomes more of like a toiletry bag. But I just keep it as a handbag because it's easier for me. So that's kind of like your most important things for settling in. So once you settle in, you'll be taken to an infusion room. Sometimes it's a chair where you sit down in, other times it's a bed where you can lay down. The best is if you get a bed because then when the Benadryl hits, you can actually have a place to sleep. But most of the time you're sitting in infusion chairs, which can kind of be a little bit uncomfortable when you're getting the Benadryl because it's really difficult to sleep in a chair. At least I find that. Most people sleep during the Benadryl, but I personally don't. I've never been able to sleep when I get the Benadryl. So I don't know if it's just me, if I'm like a unique case, but I see that most people sleep. Unfortunately, I've never been able to sleep with the Benadryl. So for that, I usually like to listen to a yoga nidra or a meditation or just a podcast, something that I can like relax and switch off my brain without having to sleep. I like to listen to audiobooks or music, something that I can just relax but not concentrate in, like a movie. Sometimes like watching a movie or a series when you're on the Benadryl, you can't really concentrate on what's happening and you can't really read because you just feel very drowsy and lethargic. So for that, I like to have my headphones and I just pop these in their case and I put that in my bigger bag. And this is basically for when you just need some entertainment that's kind of like candy floss for the mind. During the Benadryl, I like to make sure I have my headphones with me. And for that, I usually just listen to a podcast, music, audiobooks like I just said because I can't really concentrate on a full-blown movie. After the Benadryl wears off and you're starting to feel a little bit more awake and perhaps you have a little more energy, this is where I recommend you having like your entertainment, like a book to read or a movie to watch, something that you can concentrate in because you won't be as lethargic. So for when I'm feeling a little bit more energized and perhaps like a little bit bored, I like to have my oracle cards and tarot deck with me. This is like a super fun way to entertain yourself. This helps me feel emotionally supported and it really makes me feel like I am doing something productive and wholesome and just something that's nurturing my soul, because when you're going through the Ocrevus infusion, it can be quite emotional. Having any medical treatment is a seriously emotional thing, especially when you have an autoimmune disease. Having MS is no joke and it's a serious illness. It's a serious disease. So I feel like I need to have some kind of support from the universe or God or whatever it is you believe in. So this is my way of doing that. So I bring my oracle cards, I have my crystals, I just have things that make me feel supported. I highly recommend that you have things that make you feel supported, and I would really recommend having like some spiritual things that make you feel supported and make you feel less alone when you're going through such a serious treatment. So I also like to have a journal. My journal helps me note down anything that you need to tell your doctor about. So maybe you have a funny reaction, maybe there's a tingling, maybe something doesn't feel right with your body, maybe, you know, there could be a multitude of reasons that you need to note something down to tell your neurologist. I highly recommend having a notebook so that you can just make sure that you are remembering what you need to tell them. On another note, I like to have the notebook or journal so that I can speak about how I'm feeling and have, once again, that emotional support system that's coming from within, because you can't always rely on it from like an outside perspective, because you might not always be in the place to be able to speak to people. Perhaps you're alone, especially given the world situations. You can't always have people in the infusion center with you. You might not know anyone. So this is like a nice way to just support yourself, make yourself feel better, speak about your feelings, whatever's coming up for you. Perhaps you're feeling really alone. Maybe you're feeling a little bit traumatized from the procedure, from the infusion. Or you might be feeling completely fine. Either way, it's really nice to just journal and speak about your feelings and get it all out. And it's also really fun to look back on. You can look back on all the times you've gone to the infusions, how you felt, what's changed. I think it's really important that we document our feelings and have like a source for us to pour that all out. So that's why I bring my journal. Very important for me. And I'll also obviously bring a pen. You can bring colorful pens, colorful crayons to draw or color. So I pop that all into my big bag. So this is a fair-sized bag for all my stuff. Then I bring a hair ribbon kind of thing, because again, you're going to be really drowsy and lethargic. You'll probably want to lie down, and you don't want to have like a bun or a pony or something that's like giving you a headache. I don't know. Whenever my hair's tied up, it always gives me a headache, and I just feel like a ribbon is nice because I can just tie my hair out of my face and it feels so good. So I just tie my hair up. I mean, you guys know how to use a ribbon. I don't have to show you. But yeah, I just like to have that to tie my hair back without having like the pressure of a hair pony or a scrunchie, because I really don't like them and I want to be able to lie down. But also your hair might be getting in your face, you might be getting a hot flush. I honestly feel like I'm getting a hot flush right now just speaking to the camera. And this will just really help you get everything out of the way. Then most importantly, your charging device cable thingies. You will obviously be using your devices like your cell phone or your laptop, things like that. Make sure that you have cables to charge your devices so that if they run out of battery, you can obviously recharge them. So I pop that in my bag. I'm popping my headphones in my bag. I like to have a water bottle with me. You do need to go to the bathroom like every 10 minutes, at least I do, when you're getting the infusion, because there's so much liquid passing through your body. But I also like to stay hydrated with water or a fresh juice, something that's just gonna make you feel hydrated, even though you will have to go to the bathroom every 5 seconds. What I recommend is not wearing any pants that have like a zip or a button or anything that's really difficult for you to untie, especially because you're going to the bathroom quite regularly. So I recommend like leggings or pants that have like an elastic, you know, something that you can just slip on and slip off without having to like fumble with buttons or zips. You'll have an infusion in your arm or your hand, and so that can also be really painful if you're trying to like fumble with your zip and it's like putting so much pressure on your hand or your arm. So I recommend just having pants that are elastic that you can slip on and slip off. This also makes it a lot more comfortable because you will be laying down or sitting up and you don't want to be like in tight jeans or anything like that. So I really recommend that you drink a lot of water so that you stay hydrated, but that you're prepared to go to the bathroom every 10 seconds, and that you please make sure to wear like an elastic pants or something like that. I've learned so many times. I've had Ocrevus now for like the last 4 years, something like that, and I know for a fact that my body just cannot handle having to undo zips or having any kind of like tight clothing and going to the bathroom. You're walking with like the infusion thing, so it's just really difficult. You want something that you can just slip on and slip off. And then this is also a really important point. I highly recommend that you have a jersey because it does get cold, but not like a hoodie, because you don't want to have like a lot of material, you know, like you'll have to lift up the material to get the infusion, and then you don't want to have like all your material bunched and like pressing against where the infusion is inserted into your skin. So I recommend having like a slip-on jersey, because then you can just wear it on your one side, you can wrap material around you, then you're nice and warm. You can also wear it as a blanket. It's much easier than having like a whole hoodie or something where the material will bunch up, and yeah, you'll obviously have your one arm exposed. I then also like to have a nice little scarf, something like this. Again, sometimes it can be really cold, so it's nice to just have something that you can wrap around you. It also feels really comforting, and have the pressure of having like a whole bunch of material pushing against where the infusion is. You can also use the scarf as a blanket for your legs. So I am also going to be bringing my Kindle and probably a hard copy book. This will just add as more entertainment for me, especially if I get bored of like watching series or movies, or maybe the internet isn't working, things like that. I always like to have something to read, and then it also feels a little bit more wholesome than like watching movies the whole time. But if I'm being honest, I probably will just watch movies the whole time. It's very normal to just want to like veg out and watch movies and series. So I'm also going to be putting my water bottle in my bag. And then obviously don't forget your hand sanitizer and like the basic things like that. That's kind of simple and self-explanatory. I like to have some ginger tea with me. I often get really nauseous, and when you're getting the Ocrevus, it kind of feels like it brings on flu-like symptoms. So I like to have some ginger tea to help with my throat, because my throat tends to get a bit sore, and the ginger tea also helps with the nausea. You're getting like a rush of medication into your system, so it would make sense if you're feeling super nauseous or sick. So my most important tip, and honestly if there's anything that you should take from this video, it's going to be this next tip that I say. When it comes to the Ocrevus infusion, make sure that in the morning you wake up and have at least 1 glass of water. The reason being is because you wake up and go straight from your place to the infusion center, you are going to be dehydrated, and then they're not going to have veins to poke or a place to put the infusion in. My place also draws bloods before the infusion, which is really annoying, but you need to be hydrated, because otherwise they won't have anywhere to put the injection in, and it is so traumatic. I've had it happen before, where they're like poking and prodding you and they can't find a vein or they can't find a place to put the infusion in, and it's just so painful, and it's really unnecessary because it could be avoided by just having some hydration, having some water in your system. So that's really my most important tip. And if there's anything that I've learned, it's that when I wake up, I'm going to my infusion in 2 days time. So when I wake up in the morning, I'm definitely going to drink a lot of water so that I can just avoid having that whole situation take place, because it's really horrible and I honestly hate when that happens. So that's my biggest tip of advice. Have water, be hydrated so that your body is ready to receive the Ocrevus infusion. And again, I just want to say that it is okay if you're feeling upset or sad about having the infusion. It's really normal, because having any medical intervention, receiving any kind of medical care when you are someone that has a disease, has an autoimmune disease, it can be really challenging. And the worst part is that it's kind of like a reminder of the fact that you are sick and that you're living with an illness. I'm using air quotes because I don't like to put that label on myself to be like I'm sick. It's difficult having that, and it can be really confronting. So I just want to say, be really gentle with yourself. It's okay if you're feeling emotional. Allow yourself to move through the feelings and don't try and change your feelings. They're all completely valid. I also really recommend that you have someone that you can talk to, either during the infusion or afterwards, be it a family member or a therapist or anyone, a friend, just someone that you can talk to, someone that you feel like you can check in with and just say, hi, I'm here, I'm getting the infusion. I'm feeling a little bit scared, or I'm feeling really excited that I'm getting my medication. Just having that kind of reflection can be really helpful. And then also speaking to someone if you do find that you're feeling really emotional, and having that support system, because it's really important. And I know for myself personally, when I'm not in touch with my emotions and how I'm feeling, sometimes I can be really like aggressive or annoyed at people, frustrated, like you might snap at your partner or your loved one or your family members because you're feeling really overwhelmed. So it's important that you're in tune with how you're feeling so that you can really ask for what you want and also allow yourself to receive what you need. So if you need support, ask for support. And if you need space, also ask for space. I am someone that likes to process things by myself. So I also often like to ask people around me to just give me a little bit of space so that I can go through the experience on my own and not feel like I have to hold space for someone else's emotions, but rather just be there for myself. I like to be introverted during that time, so I'll tell the people around me, you know, to not expect me at things or to not expect me to hold any kind of space or to be present and blah blah blah. I like to just have open communication with the people in my life about what I'm going through, how I feel, and how I would like to be treated so that I can receive that. And then the most important thing is also receiving that from yourself. So how are you feeling? How do you need yourself to hold space for yourself? So if you need to do yoga after the infusion, then doing that. If you need to journal, if you need to watch movies, if you need nourishing food, if you need takeout, like whatever is going to make you feel better, to allow yourself to indulge in that and to not judge yourself. So it's going to look different for each one of us. We all have different coping mechanisms, but it's important to really know yourself so that you can give yourself what you need, so that you don't feel like you're not nourishing your being. And when we don't nourish our beings and our cups are basically empty, then it's difficult for us to give to others and to also be like positive and happy and to be coping with the illness. So it's important that you're nurturing yourself and that you're tuning into your being and really listening to yourself so that you can support yourself and ask those around you to support you. It's perfectly fine and valid to be going through emotions during this time, and I hope that you know that. And this is also just a reminder to myself, because sometimes I also feel like I judge myself if I am still feeling sad about having MS. Sometimes I judge myself for not being healed or for still working through it. I've had MS now for many years. I've lived with it since I was 16 years old. I'm 25 now, so I've had it for a really long time, and sometimes I get upset with myself if I'm still dealing with my diagnosis. But the thing is, I think you're always going to be dealing with your diagnosis because you have a lifelong autoimmune disease, and it's okay to be constantly processing your disease and to be constantly healing from your diagnosis, because your life is different. I can't imagine my life before, because I've had experiences and symptoms of MS since I was 14, so I don't really remember a life before. But even so, I still kind of mourn the me that is like not living with MS. But in truth and in actuality, I am living with this disease, so I need to find ways to allow myself to move through that, to cope, and then to also be sad and to validate my feelings. And I think that's really important. So if you have an autoimmune disease, it might not be MS, it might be MS, whatever it is that you're going through, just always validate yourself and allow yourself to be sad, because we can't be gaslighting ourselves about our emotions, whether you admit that you're sad or not. If that's how you feel, then that's how you feel. And that's just kind of what I want to share with you today. So it's a what's in my hospital bag for my Ocrevus infusion, and it's also a little bit of like an emotional dumping and emotional processing of living with MS and what it's like. And I hope that in some ways I can help you and support you if you're having a similar experience. And yeah, so that's where I think I'm going to end this video. That is what is in my hospital bag. Very simple, at least to me it's very simple. I don't want to overpack, I don't want to come with a huge amount of stuff. And yeah, that's just what I take. I forgot to mention that I also take my laptop. Obviously, I have my laptop with me because I am a master's student and I will be doing my university work also at the hospital, which is also annoying. So if you're working, if it's a working day for you, obviously you'll bring your laptop and the stuff that you need to be working. So yeah, I'm going to leave the video here, sending you lots and lots of love from the bottom of my heart, and lots of good luck if you are going to be having your Ocrevus infusion or you have already had it. I hope you're doing well, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Lots and lots of love. Please check out my Ocrevus vlog. This video will probably go up before the Ocrevus vlog, but they'll probably go up around similar times. So I'm sending you lots and lots of love. Have a wonderful rest of your day.